Hello, Puka traders out there. My name is Wilson, also known as Crewman Wilson on Puka Trade or Crewman Wilson on Twitch TV. Today, we are going to do a cube draft on Magic Online. And not just a cube draft, but this is a power cube, which means that this cube has all of the Power 9 in it. Black Lotus, the 5 Moxen, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, Time Twister. It also has great cards like Library of Alexandria, Soul Ring. So I'm really excited. I love cube drafting. I think it's such an amazing way of playing Magic. You just get to expand your horizons, expand your imagination. You can do archetypes. You can do anything you want in it, we get to actually talk about one of the most powerful cards in Cube, which is Soul Ring. The first thing that I do with any Cube draft, the way that Magic Online is set up is it sorts it by rarity. So you can see there's mythic rares up here at the top, and then regular rares, followed by uncommons, and then commons, which is usually good for any kind of regular draft where you get to see where the rare is, and then uncommons and commons. But here it's just a mishmash of cards. So what I like to do is in any of this empty space, right click, sort by color, so that way we can actually see a more organized pack. All right. Hey, Soul Ring. Soul Ring is, if not the best, arguably the best card in Cube. Lots of people think that Black Lotus is better than Soul Ring. Lots of people think that Soul Ring is better than Black Lotus. Either way, Soul Ring is the pick here. There's a lot of other great cards here. Oath of Druids, Emrakul. The signets are always great. Fixing, and there's a couple of red cards. But we're going to take Soul Ring because it's ridiculous. All right, next up. We got a lot of good choices here. We got Baby Jace. We have Cryptic Command, Underground Sea. There's also Stomping Grounds, Garruk Primal Hunter. There's also Fast Bond, which can have some really explosive starts to it. One thing that I like to do with Cube is I don't like to lock myself into, we're playing Mono Red, or we're playing White Weenie, or, we're going Mono Black, or, Storm, or whatever. I like to stay as open as possible, and even then, when the Cube is all done, when the drafting's all done, I sometimes don't even have an archetype that I'm in. Sometimes it's just like 4 or 5 colored good stuff, or it's just, a Magic deck that all works together. Here, I really think it's between these 3 cards, although I do think that Fast Bond is really, really good. One thing that I like to do early is I like to take Fixing, and I think Underground Sea is one of the top tier Fixing cards that you can take. So we're going to take Underground Sea. I can definitely see an argument for Yawgmoth's Bargain because it's very, very good, but we'll take Underground Sea. Now here, since we took Underground Sea, there's Vidalcan Shackles. Vidalcan Shackles is really good. There's also Treasure Cruise, which is just an Ancestral Recall, essentially. 1 blue, draw 3 cards. Ancestral Recall, it is an instant. You don't have to delve 7 cards out of your graveyard. But, when you don't open Ancestral Recall, you have things like Treasure Cruise. I really think that it's Vidalcan Shackles. I think that Dimir Signet is really, really close. Again, Fixing is really great, and Signets will not only fix your mana, but also ramp your mana. So I think that Signet's really good. But I'm going to take Vidalcan Shackles. We already have an Underground Sea, and now we can start picking up things like Watery Graves and other blue cards without having to worry much about having enough islands to steal our opponent's creatures. So Vidalcan Shackles, that is. Now there's Grim Monolith and Phyrexian Metamorph. Metamorphing a Vidalcan Shackles is big game. It's big game. So that's definitely something that we can do. Grim Monolith, let me just say, in this cube, there's a lot of big things that you can ramp out. Even ramping out things like Mind's Desire is very, very good. So I think it's definitely between these two. And between them, I think that it's probably, gosh, this is a tough one. I think it's Grim Monolith. I think Monolith is just fantastic. I mean, imagine this, going turn 1 land, Soul Ring, Monolith, go. Untap, play a land. Now all of a sudden you have, what is that, 7 mana on turn 2? Come on, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. This pack is a little bit weaker than some of the other packs. There is a Gifts Ungiven, which is just fantastic. Abrupt Decay can definitely work. We do have a black land. One of the things about the cube that I like to look at is, you see these colors up in the right hand corner. They almost mean nothing. Like what can you take here that would make your deck the absolute best? Song of the Dryad and Beast Within are almost interchangeable. I think though it's Gifts Ungiven. Now we have an opportunity where we can draft Unburial Rites if that ever comes around, and some sort of big fatty, and we can do it all. We can do it all. Here there's a Hallowed Fountain. There's also Everflowing Chalice. Time Spiral is fantastic. I think, though, it's Hallowed Fountain. What I just said about Unburial Rites, we do need a white to be able to really go crazy. And Hallowed Fountain, it's an island. Works well with Vidalcan Shackles. Time Spiral is very, very good, but I think it's Hallowed Fountain over any of these. So we're going to take Hallowed Fountain. Be actually quite happy about it. All right. So kids, Yawgmoth's Will is ridiculous. It may not look ridiculous on its surface, but you can do some crazy things with Yawgmoth's Will. If we get so lucky to crack open a Black Lotus along with our Soul Ring and just be the luckiest Magic players ever, Yawgmoth's Will and Black Lotus can do ridiculous things. It can also just do ridiculous things like we can Gifts Ungiven for 2 cards, put them both in our graveyard, play Yawgmoth's Will, then play those 2 cards. It's also black to go with our Underground Sea, so that's just perfect. All right. So in this cube, I think Thought Adele is actually not that bad. Not that bad. Thought Adele, you can hit your opponent, steal an artifact from them. Granted, we do have the best artifact. We're missing Black Lotus, but, we can go get Black Lotus out of our opponent's decks. Council's Judgment is also very, very good. It might be Council's Judgment. Council's Judgment will just get any card, any single card that our opponent's playing. While Thought Adele is pretty good at doing things like that, I think that Council's Judgment is good, having that little piece of removal, that spot removal. There's Armageddon. There's also Memory Jar. Also Phantasmal Image. Phantasmal Image is fantastic. Imagine if your opponent goes, turn 2 reanimate Gristlebrand. You go, okay, well, I'll have my own Gristlebrand. That's great. Memory Jar, though, is pretty good, and it also goes really well with our Yawgmoth's Will. I think we're going to take Phantasmal Image. I think Image is pretty irreplaceable. Now, Yawgmoth's Bargain does not deserve to wheel like that. That's unacceptable. Yawgmoth's Bargain is just fantastic. There's both these red cards are, they're fine. Bloodline Keeper is, a totally acceptable card, but Yawgmoth's Bargain, gosh, that is game. Imagine playing Yawgmoth's Bargain on, turn 4. Gosh, we even talked about it, playing it on turn 2. That's ridiculous. Disenchant, I think, is quietly one of the best cards in this cube. I have, on multiple occasions, talked about, it doesn't have any text here, but it says destroy target artifact or enchantment. Well, artifacts, enchantments, artifact, it's all there. We'll take a Dark Ritual here. Dark Ritual is great. We can Dark Ritual out Yawgmoth's Bargain. And now, out of all these, I think Mastercore is the most playable. We can always get something like a Tolarian Academy later and maybe play Mastercore. We'll put Mastercore into the sideboard right now. Necropotence, we already have Yawgmoth's Bargain, so we're not really looking to do that. So I'm going to take this Lion's Eye Diamond. It may be good. We can, maybe get like a Time Spiral or something later on to go along with this Lion's Eye Diamond. We could also Lion's Eye Diamond, get a bunch of mana, pay life, and then draw cards, and then, really wreck them. But, yeah, I like where we're starting out. I mean, Soul Ring is a great place to start out. Grim Monolith and Yawgmoth's Bargain, Yawgmoth's Will. We have a mono Yawgmoth themed deck. This is great. Okay. We got to make some tough calls here. We got Snapcaster Mage, which is quite good. We can Snapcaster Mage Council's Judgment, Snapcaster Mage Gifts, Snapcaster Mage Disenchant. There's also Unburial Rites, which goes along with our Gifts Ungiven. If we take Unburial Rites, now we can start looking for some big fatty. Even something like Baneslayer Angel is quite good. Bloodstained Mire can go get our Underground Sea. Scroll Rack is very, very good too. Trinket Mage can go and get our Soul Ring. So we would technically have 2 Soul Rings in our deck. Although I think that Trinket Mage might wheel. That's kind of a wild long ball chance there. But I'm going to take this Unburial Rites. It's way too good with Gifts Ungiven. And now we have, kind of a 1-card combo, if you will, with the Gifts Ungiven and Unburial Rites. And we can just Gifts, get Unburial Rites, get another creature, put that creature into the yard, put Unburial Rites into the yard, and then reanimate it. Speaking of giant creatures, I think Massacre Worm is interchangeable. It's very good against certain decks, but there's other big fatties. And right now I'm looking at things like Misty Rainforest, which can get both of our lands. There's Strip Mine, which is just incredibly good. There's also Tassiger and some other cards like Daze. But I think it's going to be Strip Mine. I think Strip Mine is pretty fantastic. Now, if we get a card like Crucible of Worlds, we can Strip Mine Crucible of Worlds, which if you've ever done that, or that's ever been done to you, you understand. You understand the pain that it is to have Strip Mine Crucible and just lock your opponent out of the game. I think that maybe one of these fatties will wheel. We would even be pretty happy with Duplicant. And Misty Rainforest, it's kind of sad to see that go, but Strip Mine is just way, way too good to pass that up. Now here, there's a Makeshift Mannequin, which can help us with possible Reanimator theme. There's also Impulse and Windswept Heath, which can go get Hallowed Fountain. So Windswept Heath would be able to get white, green, blue. Hero's Downfall is a fine removal card. Even Regrowth is pretty fine. I think, though, out of this pack, we're going to take an Impulse. We want to keep our lands as islandy as possible. Impulse also just lets us go and find certain things that will help us really work out the win. So I think Impulse is the pick here. All right. Well, there's an Isochron Scepter, which, if you ever Isochron Scepter Dark Ritual, that's just adding an extra mana. Isochron Scepter Impulse, Isochron Scepter Disenchant. Those are all good things. There's also Academy Ruins. If our opponent maybe, destroys one of our cool artifacts, we can also Academy Ruins Lion's Eye Diamond. There's Big Garrick. There's a Natural Order. There's also an Unexpectedly Absent. Unexpectedly Absent in Isochron Scepter is actually a pretty big game. Just every turn, just 2 mana, put something on top of their deck. There's not a whole lot here for us. And out of everything, I think that the Academy Ruins will wheel. And I think that Isochron Scepter, getting it this early, we can start building around it. I don't think it's, a super exciting card, but I think that we can definitely do some wild things with it. Sphinx of the Steel Wind, that's one of the best Reanimator cards that we can ask for. Some of the best are like Gristlebrand, Iona, and then Sphinx of the Steel Wind is probably bronze, maybe not making it on the podium, but definitely in that top tier. Out of everything else here, there's not really much for us. Chrome Mox would be fine. Land Tax, I'm not excited. Necrotal is always good, but Necrotal and his cool hat will probably wheel, so we're going to take Sphinx of the Steel Wind. There's also a backdoor chance that we get something like a Tinker, which would be very, very cool. Here in this pack, there's also a Mere Battlesphere, which could be very good with our Gifts Ungiven package. There's also a Living Death, which we could Gifts Ungiven for 2 creatures, put them both into our yard, Living Death, return both of those 2 creatures, wipe our opponent's board, and smash with them. Gosh, that sounds really cool. Caracas is also a great card. Not an island, though. So I think it's between Mere Battlesphere and Living Death. Man of War is also fantastic. I think we're going to take the Living Death here. Living Death adds just such a dimension to this deck that I don't think anything else does. Opposition. I don't think that we have the deck for opposition, but anytime that you can pick up an opposition, I highly recommend it. It is so choice. Everything else here is kind of poopy. We could go like opposition, steal your creature, tap the creature, tap something of yours. But yeah, everything else seems kind of bad. We could Bloodghast, put that into the graveyard, and then bring it right back with its landfall ability. I'm going to take this opposition just, you know... Yeah, I'm going to take this opposition because A, I don't want to play against it, and B, we might actually get some cards that could be good with it. Delver of Secrets, I don't think is actually very good in Cube, so we're going to pass up on that. Putrid Imp, we could throw things into our graveyard for Living Death, but you know, for discard outlets, it's not really what I want to have happen. Nezumi Grave Robber, though, actually I think could very much work. We could exile the cards from their graveyard, exile their creatures, and then Living Death. That sounds great. We'll do that. Now here, there's a Wasteland. We can have Wasteland and Strip Mine. Oh boy. Oh boy, that might be a thing. There's also Scroll Rack to go along with that Delver of Secrets, but yeah, we don't need that Delver of Secrets. I think we're gonna go Wasteland and Strip Mine, and just really make our opponents' lives miserable. Now there's a Daze. There's also a Duplicant, but I think we're gonna take Daze here. I think Daze is fantastic. Plus, you know, in the Cube, everyone is always tapping out to do crazy things, and when they tap out, play something huge, we can Daze it and make our opponents feel bad. Especially if we're stifling their mana. We'll take this Makeshift Mannequin. I don't know how good it's going to be, and I don't think anything else in here is where we want to be. Academy Ruins. Academy Ruins can definitely be a card that we play. It also helps us from, you know, possibly decking ourselves. Also, if we maybe pick up a Mindslaver, we would have a combo there. We'll take this Leonin Relic Order, but we'll Relic Order that to our sideboard. Hero Bladehold is actually just a win condition all by itself. It can just take over a game, and if it goes unanswered, you know, there is no stopping this thing. So Pack 2 wasn't as great as Pack 1, but I have some high hopes for Pack 3. I think that we can definitely get there in Pack 3. Speaking of Pack 3, there's some good cards in here. There are some very good cards in here. The cards that jump out to me are Coalition Relic, Grave Titan, Shadow Mage Infiltrator, kind of, but it's really between these two. Ulamog is not where we want to be. We can't reanimate it because whenever it's put into a graveyard, you have to reshuffle your library. So I think it's between these two. And between these two, I think I want to take the Coalition Relic. That just gives us such a great mana ramp package, and this also fixes our mana, which our mana does look a bit shaky right now. You know, we are playing 3 lands that don't produce any colors, and we are playing what is looking like a 3-color deck. So I think that it's probably going to be Coalition Relic. As much as it's sad to see Grave Titan go, Coalition Relic is one of the top cards in the cube, and I'm quite happy picking that up. Okay, so here, Steam Vents is good, but we're not in any sort of red. I think Winter Orb is pretty fantastic, as hateful as it is. Sometimes I see this wheel, though, so we might get lucky enough to see that wheel. There's also a Force of Will, and I think that it might be Force of Will. We only have 4, 5, 6 blue cards to pitch to it. We don't really want to pitch Sphinx of the Steel Wind to it. Other options are Corpse Dance, which we don't have a whole lot of creatures. I think it's just going to be Force of Will. Winter Orb could be really good because we do have this mana ramp package. Just going like land, Soul Ring, Winter Orb, and then just playing the whole game under a Winter Orb. I think it's going to be Force of Will, though. Even just hard casting Force of Will is great. Now, okay. So Time Walk says, colorless blue, take an extra turn. There is no reason why this should be still here. There is no reason why this should still be here. The only reason why this should be still here is like, say there was a Black Lotus and a Ancestral in here, or a Black Lotus and a Mox. But Time Walk, that is. Bazaar Baghdad is fine. I have such a crush on Greater Gargadon. I think it's one of the best cards in the cube, but I think I may be the only one who thinks that. Muldrifter is also fantastic. We're just going to casually pick up a Time Walk here and be pretty happy with it. Bribery? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, if they're just giving it to us, we'll take Bribery. Sphinx's Revelation is quite good. Same with Brainstorm. Even something like Sun Titan or Tropical Island, we're not really green, but, you know, Bribery, gosh. We'll take that. That sounds great. We'll Bribery all day. Okay, so let's see. We have Moloku, the Clouded Mirror, which is quite good. You know, Moloku sometimes can just take over games. There's also Compulsive Research, which can we can pitch cards to it, which we can, you know, pitch creatures and then Living Death them all back, or Unburial Rights them all back. I think it's Compulsive Research. It's just such a good card draw spell that, you know, it's kind of hard to pass that up. Okay, all right. Well, I guess we're taking Demonic Tutor here. Demonic Tutor, Soul Ring, Time Walk, Yawgmoth's Bargain. Yeah, really, really fair deck we got brewing here. Really fair deck. As much as I like Imperial Seal and Murderous Cut and even Orzhov Signet, I think the pick here is Polluted Delta. It does get both of our lands. Orzhov Signet is quite good, but you know, we do need blue, and this does get some of our islands. Yeah, I think it's just Polluted Delta here. All right. Utter End is pretty fantastic. There's also a Sundering Titan, Sunderdad. Sundering Titan can actually be exactly what we're looking for. We are looking for big reanimation targets, and right now we only have one. And picking up another one this late into pack 3, I think is kind of a gift. So we're going to take Sundering Titan and be quite happy with that. Shadow Mage Infiltrator wheeling is pretty cool. We'll take that. None of these cards are really playable for us. Lean and Arbiter is can make life kind of hard on someone, but not for us. Okay, so there's a Puppeteer Click. There's also a Mental Misstep. Misstep might be good. We do have one of the best 1-drops in the cube, so maybe it's not that great. It might just be Puppeteer Click. I mean, these are not really what we're looking for, so it's definitely between these two. Let's take Mental Misstep. We might board it in. And it would just be another card to pitch to Force of Will. Gosh, Dark Ritual. We got it all. So there's 6 lands here. Oh, Gargadon Wheeling, come on. Come on, people. That's not all right. Bazaar may be the pick here. It's a bit bizarre. I don't think it's a Myria Angel. All right, we'll take Bazaar here. It pains me to pass Greater Gargadon. Pains me. I think Mesmeric Fiend is pretty great. And, you know, Volrath Stronghold can put creatures back on top of our deck, but we're looking to reanimate them. We're not looking to, you know, continually get value out of them. All right, so things that can move to the sideboard. Disenchant can probably move to the sideboard. Academy Ruins can probably move there. Yeah, we'll take this Eidolon of Great Revel. It's very good against us. Some other things that can move to the sideboard. Probably this Nezumi Grave Robber. Oh, and Short Fang, just the mono Nezumi deck. And a last pick Banisher Priest. We might actually play that. That might be good. Okay, so we have 26 cards in our deck. 26 cards. Let's group these creatures separately. This doesn't tell us much. It tells us that we have a lot of non-creature spells, which is great. which is great. I think Makeshift Mannequin can probably, you know what? We do have 2 reanimation targets, you know, and it's pretty good. You know, if they target it, we sacrifice Sundering Titan, and we get to destroy more lands. That's great. Let's see. I think Yawgmoth's Will, as good as it is, can probably go into sideboard. We could probably take out 1 more card, and I think it might be this Nezumi Grave Robber. If we do run into a deck where we are looking to Living Death and they're just throwing cards in their graveyard, I think Nezumi may have to come in for that. That said, I think that we can get away with 16 lands. We do have the Soul Ring, we do have a Grim Monolith, we do have a Coalition Relic. So we'll put in Strip Mine, Underground Sea, Wasteland, Hallowed Fountain, Polluted Delta. Let's see, we have to put in 11 more lands. So I'm thinking it's going to be something along the lines of... Gosh, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if we're going to have enough islands for this Vidalcan Shackles to work. I don't think that we're going to have enough islands to make it work. And I'm actually okay with that. By taking that out, we can put in something like Disenchant. While Disenchant doesn't seem like, you know, a power cube main deckable type card, like, imagine playing against us and having Disenchant. Disenchant Soul Ring, Disenchant Grim Monolith, Disenchant Coalition Relic. How about Disenchant Yawgmoth's Bargain? How about we disenchant one of our big creatures? Disenchant is so good. Disenchant and Ancient Grudge, I think, are silently, quietly, 2 of the best cards in the power cube. And it's not even close. Okay, so putting in Disenchant, taking out Vidalcan Shackles. It pains me, but I think that's where we're going to have to be at. All right. So let's see. Let's combine these groups and then group these by color. So we have a bunch of colorless stuff. We could even cast this. This is very, very castable. In fact, all of our cards, you know, Sundering Titan as well, it's very, very castable. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blue pips. We have 5, 6 white pips. And we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 black pips. So we have 11 lands to play with. I think it's probably going to go, let's see, 4, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3. Because we do have two islands, and we want islands to be the main color in this deck. So if we get 4 islands in the deck, that gives us 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue sources. If we put in 4 swamps, that gives us 4, 5, 6, 7 black sources, and we put in 3 plains. That's 3, 4, 5, 6 white sources. I think that's pretty good. So let's see. Oh, and it says 4, 4, 3. Perfect. All right. Cool. I think that this is our deck. This looks pretty great. I will see you guys for round 1.